Something. It's never a dull day at all. What's going
Never.
on, Miss Tia?
Hey, what's happening?
Nothing much. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Love, Lust, and Badass. So I am one of your esteemed hosts, CEO Haize, and I'm joined by the lovely, the sexy, I don't even know what you've had an interesting week with shit. Like it's been really, really crazy.
Yeah,
How you been doing,
we have
Tia?
good. This week is good. Normally I
Just
say
good?
okay. This week was good.
Okay. Okay. That's
It's an
cool.
upgrade
Better
from
better than last week?
exactly.
Okay, that's what's up.
How about
Mhm.
you?
I'm doing all right. I'm sorry. For anyone who's watching, I'm tweeting out that we are live. Uh, but yeah, I gotta get this. I gotta because usually we've been going live in the Facebook group. So the fact that we're not going live in the Facebook group today, I just want to let people know it's going to be a little bit different. But
YouTube, right?
nonetheless, yeah, YouTube today. But nonetheless, let's get into the shits first. I do have to ask you this. How does it feel to be like one of the most wanted people on social media? Because it's been an interesting week for you.
For both of us. I wouldn't say I'm one of the most wanted people. People don't even know me for real. But it's been interesting. It's I had to tell somebody to chill out today for a second, but it was cool. No love
Yeah.
lost. What about your blast from the past?
It's interesting. Interesting. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But
Very
yeah. Yeah.
interesting.
Always interesting. Never a dull day for me, but you know how it is. That's what happens when you are uh me, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Funny. I got everything up today for you in case you asked me to read.
Oh, I will. Don't even worry
There.
about it. But uh so I thought about like how we were gonna start this, right? If I wanted to start it with us like talking about some of the stuff that's happened with like just hilarious, but I'm over talking about I really don't want to talk anymore about this whole Megan Thee Stallion thing, but I do want to ask you about this. Like because I know you kind of pay attention to what's going on in like all things, not just love, sex, and relationships that we're going to get into. What do you think about the Kanye West shit with Kim Kardashian? Now, from this standpoint, I just want to ask about it from this standpoint. Her tweet saying, she was very respectful of the fact that he's bipolar, and some of the comments he's made about her lately. When she could have went off, she could have said something differently. But what do you think? Do you think, as much as we're focusing on this Kanye thing, and people have pointed to Kim being the issue or whatever, do you think that she deserves more acknowledgement for the fact that she is dealing with this as good as it seems like she is?
Yes and no. I'll tell you why. Yes, because they've been married for a while now. Has it been over 5 years yet?
Yeah, well over, well over.
Okay, so they've been married for a while, and surprisingly, with him being bipolar, she hasn't filed for divorce. Kim is known for filing for divorce in all of her previous marriages. So I am
Yeah,
actually surprised that she's like sticking this one out, and she's been with him this long. Kudos. But no, because there's something about the Kardashian women, Kim specifically,
mm-hmm.
that drive niggas crazy.
You can't
All of
say
her
that. You can't
exes,
say that. See, and I hate it when people like. Don't get me wrong. I'm not the biggest Kim Kardashian supporter, but I honestly think it looks like she seemed to mature some. Like, look what she's doing with prison reform and getting people off. Like, we
yeah,
always
now,
we always blame the people that it's their fault that people went crazy, or maybe she just picked people that already had. We don't know what goes on in people's private lives.
well, again, I'm not saying her. I feel like it's all of them. There's Lamar, there's Scott. The only ones that got away scot free was Ray J and Reggie Bush. And even Reggie went to somebody and married a woman that looked like him. So I don't know. But all I'm saying is there seems to be some kind of Kardashian Jenner curse that's been happening with every man that they deal with forever. But here's another thing that I don't think anyone realized. Now, we really didn't see the snap in Kanye until his mom passed. So, is this something that he's always had and she kind of helped him, his mom kind of helped him cope? Or was this like some type of psychotic break that he had once she passed away?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a good question. I would love to know the answer to.
I mean, we will probably never get the answer to that question.
That's true.
But anyway, let's go. Let's go on. Let's go on. To the first topic that we have, and this is one that you came up with. Really good one. Hard conversations. How should one approach a difficult conversation with their with their partner, and make sure that their partner is receptive and that they understand? What do you think about that?
Well, that's hard to do
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like everyone wants to have those and be in a relationship with those who can have those kind of conversations because it shows how, mature you guys are in a relationship. But at the same time, it doesn't make it any easier to come to someone and say exactly how you feel when it's something that you're not used to doing.
Yeah.
So many people like sugarcoat things for their partner or like tiptoe around things, or they may talk about it a little but not exactly go into detail. And so I don't know, it's hard for me to do. It's very hard. I'm trying because I know that that's inevitably like what I want with a
Mm-hmm.
partner, but it's very hard to do.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you want your partner to be receptive. Like, don't just listen to what I'm saying, but I need you to have feedback too. Like, what do you think about what I just said? How do you feel about it?
I think it's important to like, and I saw this video not too long ago, but it's important. It's important to when you are talking or when your partner's communicating something to you to say, okay, so this is what I'm understanding that you're saying. I just want to make sure that I'm understanding it correctly to clarify, and then to say, okay, well, this is what I think we could do about it. How do you feel about that? So you guys walk away with and with
Some type of
both the
resolve.
understanding of what's going to happen. Now that doesn't always mean that that's going to be immediate. Like you can say, all right, I hear you. Can I take a couple of can I take 30 minutes or can I take some time to process how I feel about it, and then let's come back and then let's talk about it. Like you have to leave room for that too. I think so often, like especially if we're communicating something to our partner that's maybe very important to us or maybe hard, we want that answer right then and there. And if they are to give you that answer, who's to say when they take some time to think about it, something did or another question doesn't pop up or they don't need something clarified. So I think it's important to allow that space sometimes to have that time to for them to process what you're dropping on them.
Yeah, and then I think it's hard for people to have hard conversations with people because it's not that the person that wants to have the conversation can't do it. It's more so how would the person that I need to tell respond to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you do have people that try to have hard conversations with their mate and their mate kind of like brush off their feelings, or like it's not as important to their mate as it is to them, or oh, that's stupid, why you mad about that? And people don't want to constantly be vulnerable in that way and then get that
Mm-hmm.
kind of response back. So I think that's another thing that makes it super hard. Like you don't want a negative response when you share something, share something hard or difficult with who you're dealing with.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes, people have PTSD from that.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
don't want it thrown back up in your face. Like there's so many different reasons, but I think that's another reason why we need to do better at weeding out who we do date and court and get in relationships with, because you don't want anybody that is gonna respond in a negative way or doesn't at least try to understand what you mean and where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm. All right, that makes sense. That makes sense. I feel it. I feel it. I like it. But I think it's important too, like the way that this question is phrased is that you can never make sure that your partner is receptive, right? You can communicate all day long, but like that receptive piece of it, they have to be receptive and open to hearing that hard conversation. And that's part of relationship building. That's why it's important to get to a certain place because it does take time. And to deepen your relationship so you can have those hard conversations because it's easy when everything is good. It's easy when everything's fluffy. It's easy when all of that. But, you know, that is what for me, it says the deepness of a relationship. If I can come to you about the hard things, then we can make it through about anything. But it can't just always be the surface level stuff.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely. Good shit.
We always do good shit. This is what we do. Let's move into the topic number 2. Let me bring out Haize a little bit more.
Yes, get off the
this
phone.
I'm not on the phone. I'm making sure the stream's good. We've had tech problems. This stream should have been over with by now. What do you suggest for someone who feels like they are unattractive? They are the unattractive one in the relationship. And then second part of this question is: have we ever been threatened by how attractive one of our partners has been? What do you think about that?
How do I suggest? What do I suggest for someone who feels like they're the unattractive one? Why are you in a relationship if you feel like you're the unattractive one? To me, that's like a confidence. That's a confidence thing. Like, I feel like if you don't have a certain level of confidence, you shouldn't be in a relationship. But since you're already in it, I don't know. Maybe spruce yourself up a bit. Maybe keep your hair done and your nails done and all of that.
Is that really the message that we want to send to women who are listening to this podcast?
I mean,
is that really what we want to do?
Unattractive. Do things that make you feel attractive. Work out. Get your body.
But I don't think it's
shit like that.
But I don't even think that it's necessarily that okay, if you feel like you're the unattractive one in the relationship or less attractive, I guess maybe that's the way that I'm looking at it, less attractive than your partner. Because it happens. Let's say because men and women age differently, right? Some women feel like they get less attractive in age, where men as they get older and the gray hair and stuff, some people find that more attractive. So like, and I like one of my favorite movies is the 40-year-old version, and in that the woman said that like he's getting more attractive while she's getting older. So like, and it can happen vice versa, men and women too. So I think like if you think about it from that perspective, you can start feeling unattractive without being out of shape or being any of that. Like it's kind of a mindset to have, especially if you're with your partner, you think they're kind of glowing up while you're glowing down. I think ultimately, you gotta remember the person that you're with chose you for a reason, right? And if you're the most beautiful person in the world and they tell you how beautiful and how attractive they ultimately make you feel, that should help you some and at least let you know that they're not unattractive to you. But I still know that people face that doubt in themselves sometimes. So it's I really don't know how to give advice to that per se, because it's for me, it's like self-confidence isn't something that I've ever struggled with. So I it's hard for me to give advice to that part of it. But I would ultimately think like you have to do things that make you feel good. If it is your weight, work out. If it's sometimes just putting on, like, I think sometimes we feel like we can't get dolled up if we don't have nowhere to go. Hell, sometimes put on makeup in your favorite dress and just go out to eat and just sit there and look fine and sexy as shit. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah.
Yes, that's all you gotta do. Again, like I initially stated, it is a confidence thing. But if it's a physical thing or an appearance thing, just spruce yourself up a bit. Keep yourself done up. Even ask your partner, because I know sometimes, men are very visual. And so if your man likes you a certain way, maybe keep up that look for him, because that makes you feel sexy in order to make him feel wanted and needed and sexy. So that's an option too. But like you said, I really haven't had that problem. I don't know how else to give advice for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like the part of, have you ever been threatened by how attractive your partner is? Like, why? You're with them because they're attractive. So I this is just one of those topics that it's hard for me to, I guess, connect with because it's not anything that I've ever felt. Maybe I have to be in that situation. For anyone who's watching or a listener who's listened to the podcast after the fact, if you felt this way, reach out to us, let us know, because I think me and T are just kind of struggling with how to go on this one.
Or maybe they mean by have you ever been threatened? Maybe jealous, like maybe the partner gets more attention out and
Yeah.
about than them. Like, I don't know. Again, you guys chose each other for a reason. But yeah, like Haize said, if you've struggled with this, let us know because I can't really relate.
All
I'm
right.
not
Well, there
sure.
it goes. Well, let's move into topic number 3. What is something that you want from your next relationship that you have yet to get from a relationship?
Mm, just one thing. Got a whole list of things. You go first. Let me pick which one I want to do.
I think like I've said this before. I've said this to you in like our conversation. I think I said this the first time we ever recorded an episode together. For me, what I want in my next relationship when I do get in like to one is that the space to just be me, like space. And people hear that and think, well, what do you mean you want space? I don't mean space from my partner. I mean, I want the space to be imperfect. I want the space to fail and not be judged. I want the space to be vulnerable. I want the space to be like to cry. Like I want the space to be all sides that are me and not me ever feel like it's either going to be thrown in my face or that it's going to be something that you feel some type of way about. I ultimately in my next situation want just to be able to be me unabashedly. I've never had that before. I've always had to change something or do something about me to make other people feel comfortable, and I don't want to do that. And that's part of the reason why I live the life the way I do now. Like I live for me, I live for my children as well. But if I can't be me without the armor that I have to wear out in the world, I don't want it.
I was just saying this today. I even posted something similar in the group, but it was more so like, what are you afraid of with marriage? And my answer was same thing for a relationship. Like, I want the space and grace to be able to grow and make mistakes and not feel like at the end of the day, like Will Smith said at the Red Table Talk, like I'm going to lose my family on my man because of it. Like, you're supposed to evolve and grow, and you guys go through prayerfully decades with each other. So you're never going to be the same person that you were initially. And like you said, I want to be able to show every side of myself and not feel judged about it, or not feel like you're looking at me crazy, or you think I'm weird, or you don't want to be bothered anymore because I showed a side of me that you didn't like. That is like the scariest thing ever. But yeah, that's my main thing.
Mm.
That, and I
And
would
them to
say,
use Dr. Bronner's peppermint so you can eat their ass. We all know what it is. You nasty motherfucker. That's what you are. Um but I think too, in reality, like what I want for my next situation is, I know I said the whole space thing, but ultimately I want us to have the passion to continually get to know each other as we change and we grow. I know I'm 33 years old. I'm a grumpy ass old man. I'm almost going to be who I'm going to be, but they're going to be shades of me that change. They're going to be shades of the person that I end up with that change. I want us to always have that passion to continually fall in love and get to know each other and know that no matter what, if you go from being young and spry to all of a sudden you want to knit sweaters. I want to have that ability. I want you to have that ability to do that and just be like, look, babe, I don't want to drink tequila. I want to knit this sweater. What kind of sweater do you want? Like, I just ultimately I just want everybody to feel like be who they are and feel like as that change, we can communicate that and we still gonna be happy and it's not gonna be threatened at all. But yeah, that's my ultimate feeling. And I know we're love, lust, and badass soul, and this is a sex and relationship podcast. And I usually crack my crude jokes, but I think as I'm like getting into this space of I'm getting to 35. Like that's always been what the age that scared me for some reason.
why?
I don't know. I'm fine being old. I don't. Gray hair doesn't bother me. Going bald doesn't bother me. None of that. But I think because I'm still like, I have my children. My children are damn near grown. They all definitely going to be damn near grown by the time I'm 35, 36. So it's like, ultimately, I really just want the space. Like me, for example, you know how much the Awakened Soul of my podcast mean to me. If I would have had that podcast while I was married, it would have caused the biggest issue ever. Something that brings me so much happiness and joy would have been a point of contention, because in that relationship, it was anything that wasn't putting time into her was looked at as a problem. So now that I'm away from that, my whole focus is I just want to be able to be me, and I want that person to enjoy it. I want that person to lift me up. I want that person to be like, look, I don't understand why you like talking into a microphone 3 times a week, but you know what? You're doing it. Go be the best podcaster you can be. Like, I need that. I thrive off that. That's something that I need. So, and pretty feet. We can't forget. She got to have like this. I gotta say it every. I just want to know. Nick, first of all, I don't care. Everybody got their preferences. She gotta have pretty feet. That's all I can say. Like that's legs and feet. I don't even care. You can have a flat ass. You ain't gotta have very much titty. If your legs is nice and your feet are pretty, we good. I'm just saying. I talked about it last week. Like, we talked about the boob shots and everything. Let's move on. So this one is the next one. I figured this is the one I'm really interested to see like your perspective on. I can't wait to see it. Is what does staying in your lane mean to you when it comes to dating? And what if you don't agree with your partner on what your lane should be? So let's attack that first one initially. What does staying in your lane when it comes to dating mean to you, Tia? Because you a nigga, so I know, like, somebody telling you, "Hey, stay in your lane." I could just imagine that being a whole thing. So, what do you feel about it?
I feel like it is the equivalent to. It is what it is. Like, if you're my guy for sex, then stay in that lane. Don't come out of it. You're in this lane for a reason. If you're the guy that is potential bae, that's your lane. If you're the guy that I just want to talk to on the phone, I don't want to meet, I don't want to go out, that's your lane. Don't try to confuse any of it. Stay where you are put. Now, if we have a conversation and we want to progress to another lane, then that's one thing. But you trying to get out of pocket without a conversation, stay in your lane. That's not where I want you to be. It's not where you
What
put
am I
yourself.
going to do with you? What the fuck am I going to do with you? Like, seriously, let's just be for real. Like, but no, I mean,
You asked.
the way that I look at staying your like, it can be positive and negative, right? Because like you can, for example, if I get with somebody and they have 13, 14-year-old kids, and I feel like at my lane in that case, like, you're going to respect me, especially if you're in my house. But if we're not living together, if we're not married and you have separate kids, my lane isn't to really necessarily parent your children. Now, if you ask me, you say, "Hey, could you go talk to Junior or whatever?" I got you. Like, as a male around, and if that's the role that you need and want me in, definitely. But I think that's one thing I think of being in your lane. For example, I have Xavier is damn near grown. He's taller than me. He's 6 feet tall. He's a grown ass man. The last thing that I would want him to feel like if somebody new comes in the situation is to automatically add water, is instantly trying to act like his mom. So to me, in that case, your lane would be to connect with him, find a relationship and build a relationship with Xavier, build your own relationship, but don't come in thinking you're going to act like his mom, because the dude's already grown. Now, he's going to respect you. I'm going to set that standard, but you can't expect that it's going to be like, "Hey, mama," whoever you are. No, it's not going to be like that. He's a grown ass man. He's going to, you're going to, exactly. He already got a mama, and you're going to have to build an actual relationship with him just to think it's instant. So that's one thing I think of when I say staying in your lane when it comes to relationships. Another thing that I think about is if let's say you're an entrepreneur, we both have our own businesses. If me and you were to be together, and Lady Haven, my lane isn't to come in and try to take over and run Lady Haven with you. Now, you can welcome me into that, but that's your business. You had that before I came around. What do I look trying to come in and say, hey, no, you doing too much time on Lady Haven. No, that's you need to stay in your lane. You don't worry about it. I was making this money before you came around. I'm going to continue making it. So that's the stuff I kind of think about when it comes to being in your lane.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I
All
like
right.
that one. I like that entrepreneur one. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
yeah. And
A
everybody
lot of
isn't.
people, a lot of people, believe it or not, in the dating space,
Mm-hmm,
come in to people who are entrepreneurs and feel like because they gave you like certain ideas, or they were kind of just like around during the process, or like to come up, that they're owed something, or they
mm-hmm.
should have more of a stake in what you've developed by yourself. And it's like, stay in your lane. This is not for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And I think another thing, like, so the second part of the question is, what do you do when you don't agree with what your partner thinks staying in your lane or what your lane should be? I would say that just off the kind of the examples that we gave is that if your partner is trying to tell you something to stay out of something that's not your lane and you don't agree with it, maybe that relationship just isn't for you.
I mean, I don't even think it has to be that drastic. Like sometimes, as bad as we are, we still have to be put in our place every once in a while.
Mm,
Sometimes you just gotta humble yourself, take it, and keep it moving. It don't necessarily mean that that person is not for you. At least when it comes to like the entrepreneurial type of
mm-hmm.
thing in a relationship. But yeah, just yeah. If I don't agree, we can come to a middle ground. I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean, you got. I think also that goes back to that uncommunicated expectations thing, because if ultimately you have an expectation, you have an idea of a lane, and it's a difference, you have to communicate with your partner why you don't agree, why they feel the way you do, and then try to figure it out in the middle there. I think ultimately, like, everyone isn't going to have come in and automatically every idea is going to overlay and overlap. But if
yeah.
you do communicate it, like for example, if they say, hey, your lane is to not worry about where I am from 9 to 1 o'clock in the morning, and we don't agree on that shit, something got to give. And if we can't make no middle ground, I got to go. Like, you gotta go, I gotta go, somebody gotta go. So I think like it's situations like that, but ultimately, and I hate throwing everything under the communication thing, but that is truly the backbone of so much in a relationship is
It's the big
communication.
thing.
Yeah,
It's a big thing. Not just communicating, because you can communicate all day, but the person has to understand what the fuck you're saying.
that is true.
Because understanding is just as important as communicating. And it's
There
so
you go.
funny because in one of my previous situations, I would express something. And after I expressed it, I would say, okay, do you understand where I'm coming from? Like, can you regurgitate back to me what you think I meant? And he would get so offended. And he's like, I'm not a child. You don't have to ask me. But I'm like, no, I do. Because I need to really understand that you understand where I'm coming from, because I don't want to have this conversation again.
Yeah, and I think
I
too, like,
don't like repeating myself.
if and you and I know this kind of goes back to what we said before, like hard conversations, that you got to be able. People are afraid to tell their, especially when you're in a marriage, like that they're unhappy because they worry that everything is just going to shatter down. If you can't tell, if we're together and you can't tell me that you're unhappy about something, what the fuck is we doing? Really, what the fuck is we doing? That's the conversation we should be having. Like, fuck talking about the drapes and curtains and what's for dinner. Like, I want to know if I did something that truly made you unhappy. Like, I get it. Sit with it for a minute, take some time to process it. If you tried to overcome it, I thank you for that. But I still need to know. Even if you say, hey, you did this and it made me unhappy. Now I took some time, and since it's been a day or whatever, it's not really that big of a deal to me anymore. I've kind of gotten over it. Nigga, I want to know, because listen, I'd say this all the time. My nigga, if I do something the way you want it done, at the time you want to do it without you asking me, my nigga, I got lucky. I'm just gonna be 100% honest. I got fucking lucky. I need you to tell me, because otherwise I can get a broke clock is right 2 times a day. I need you to talk to me, because my nigga, I get lucky a lot apparently, but I don't want to live off luck. I need you to tell me. I need you to tell me what the fuck is going on, because you'll be sitting there thinking, oh, this nigga really gets me. He did this. I didn't even have to ask. He did that. I don't have to ask. And 2 years from now, my nigga, that shit ain't gonna be happening because I got lucky. I got lucky.
But I think, and this could be a topic for another day, but I think that when you are getting to know someone or dating someone, like before it becomes a serious thing, expectations, the conversation of expectations should be a thing. And people hear
Like I
expectations and
expect you to
think,
have pretty ass feet.
shut up. People hear expectations and think of it as being a negative thing. Like you hear people say, don't go into it with expectations because you're always going to be disappointed. No,
Yeah.
if I am considering spending the rest of my life with you or any kind of relationship with you on a personal level, I need you to know what I expect from this relationship, whether it's emotionally, whether it's physically, whatever it is. That way we go into it knowing what each other wants and we can cater to those needs. Because if we can't, it's no point.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I feel that. I feel that 100%. Um, yeah. Communicate your expectations. Like people will sit around all day expecting something that they ain't never told nobody. And like I said, I'm sitting around getting my ass lucky, and you thinking I got my shit together, my nigga, I got lucky. But let's move on. We're about to get into the listener submitted questions, but before we do that, we got to get into our cookie of the week. Do you have a cookie of the week?
I do have a cookie of the week.
All right, because I got one this week too. So go ahead.
Oh, well, do yours. Do yours.
All right, so my cookie of the week is somebody who's really been supporting us the last couple of weeks, has reached out, said like what the podcast has meant to her, things that she took away from it, and she even got on me a little bit because I like that one episode where I was like, I don't do white women XYZ, but I want to give a shout out and make my cookie of the week Savannah because she has been supporting this podcast like crazy the last couple of weeks, the last month or so, for real, honestly, and she's really been listening, and I know she's been listening because she sends in topics and talks about it. So I want to give my cookie of the week to Savannah. So shout out to Savannah, and I think we lost Tia. I think Tia froze. So I'm gonna keep talking my shit while we wait on Tia to come back. But yeah, that's my cookie of the week. Shout out to you. And then also like anyone who is listening to this podcast, and if you have a business, um if you have a business, a boutique, you do nails, like whatever you have going on that you're doing, send that into us so we can give you a shout out. There's nothing, as we keep building this platform, there's no point of it if our listeners and our supporters aren't also reaping benefits from the growth of this podcast that we've been doing. So I want to just say that I don't care what it is that you're doing out in the world, if you're doing something that you would like promoted, that you would like talked about on the podcast, give us a shout out and we'll go ahead and play it on there. I think we got Tia back. Let's see
Gosh.
what's going on with Tia. We do have Tia back. Tia, I don't know if you heard or not, but I made my cookie of the week, Savannah.
Savannah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. So who's your cookie of the week?
Hey, Savannah girl. I love Savannah. She's the sweetest thing ever.
Yeah.
My cookie of the week is Miss Josie Byen. That is my homegirl. I've known her since maybe 2010, 2011. It's been a while. She is from DC. She had moved to New York for about 7 years, but now she's back. So now we're cutting the streets up, okay, even with COVID. And we got some things in the work here with Haize coming up soon for Patreon. So shout out to Josie. And her Instagram is Josie, Josie, Jo _09. So
And
check her
Josie
out.
got some pretty ass feet. So we just gonna keep them.
I thought you was gonna say something else. I was about to say, oh no.
All
Don't
right.
say that.
So we're going to take a break for the podcast listeners. For the YouTube viewers, we're actually not taking a break. We're just going to get into it. And then we'll be into our questions right after this. Boom. All right. Listener questions. So we got these questions this week. We actually have 3 this week, not just our usual 2. So the first one that we have, I'll read the first one. The first one is titled, I Don't Know How to Move Forward. This letter reads, I was dating my boyfriend for 4 years in 2019. We had a strong friendship, which turned into a relationship. Last summer, my friend lied to him and told him I cheated. He believed her, which resulted in our relationship falling apart. I did so much for him to make him feel better and to prove I didn't cheat, but he was believing her. We went through months of fighting, him being distant, and me living on the edge, waiting for him to tell me he again didn't want to be with me. He was so mean to me this past year. In April, he asked for space, and I gave up fighting for this relationship. We didn't speak for 3 months. In July, he asked if we could talk, and he said that he misses me. He believes that I didn't cheat and wants to be with me. He spoke to my friend, who then admitted that she didn't cheat. I just don't know how to move forward now. I just feel And I guess she forgot to. She just feels blank. I guess. Oh no, feels like I'm paranoid around him, being scared to be myself, thinking he's going to leave again. What do you think
Can I
about
go
this one?
first?
Yeah,
First of
sure.
all,
Take it away.
she need to beat her friend ass. Especially that's not your friend. That is not your friend. Number one. Two, you should have put hands on her. I'm sorry, violence is not the answer, but sometimes it is. Sometimes you have to get down on somebody's level. Because think about it. People want love and companionship so bad. That's something that we all yearn for.
Hmm.
Even if somebody lie to you and tell you that they don't, that's what they want at the end of the day. Nobody wants to die alone. Somebody always wants a partner. For you to come in as my friend and lie to my man, that resulted in so much other turmoil to the point now where I still want to be with him, but I'm going to be paranoid. You need your ass whooped. You need your ass whooped. And he needs to kiss your ass to let you know that he is very sorry and that he shouldn't have listened to her. Like he needs to be proven to you that he needs to be on your shit. You understand? Consistently. That's all I got. But she need hands put on her because that's not
I don't
right.
disagree with you necessarily, especially with putting hands. Like beat that bitch ass. But
Quick.
outside of that, I think that like you say that your relationship fell apart. If somebody coming to him shattered him that much, I hate to tell you, your relationship wasn't that strong to begin with. That's just my opinion. There was already what?
I'm gonna have to slightly disagree, only because it was her best friend or
Still,
friend.
it does. My thing is that if your relationship was super strong, and even if it was her best friend coming to you, where's the proof? I need to see some proof, my nigga.
That too.
Like, cause if our relationship is strong and we've been together 4 years, I'm going to need to see a text message. I'm gonna need
The
to know who the
pictures.
dude was. I'm gonna need more information than just you saying, "Oh yeah, she cheated on you last year." With who? When?
Right.
What was the dates? Like to me, if I really trust somebody, I'm going to try to do more before now I'm going to do my investigation. Don't get me wrong.
Of course.
I'm not saying I'm going to take what the friends say and be like fuck you. I don't believe you shit. I'm gonna do my investigation. But
You
then
should.
it's some stuff needs to line up before I'm just ready to throw the relate. So my thing is I'm what I'm saying is that he there was something in him that was already either uneasy or was having doubts about something. That's just my personal opinion. I may be wrong. But that's my for it to be you guys were going 4 years strong and it completely the shadow without much proof.
Like it was too easy.
Yeah, it was too easy. It was too easy. So as far as like what do you need to do to make it better? I think you need to realize that it's not like he just all of a sudden cooked it in his head that you were cheating on him. Somebody did come to him. So I'm sure that did shatter him a little bit to think of. I mean, if he's just walking around thinking everything's good and happy, that may have done some damage to him. You can't just expect him to just automatically get over it. Now, your fear, you saying you live in constant fear that he's going to leave you again. If anything, this should really make you guys stronger. If somebody lied on you guys and it wasn't true and there's nothing proving that you were unfaithful at all, hopefully you guys can rebuild and get stronger. You can't sit around and worry about if he's gonna leave. I hate people always saying that they worry. I don't want him to leave. I don't want her to leave. Nigga, if they gonna leave, they gonna leave. All you can do is try to do what's right. And in this situation, you did everything you could that was right. You tried to make it better. You tried to calm down how he felt, knowing the whole time you didn't actually cheat. You've done everything you can in that situation. We got to stop being afraid to let some people go.
I'm just glad you're not a savage, because a savage bitch would have cheated just because she was being accused of cheating. The
See,
good
that's that
thing
nigga
not one
mentality
does.
that you have that scares the shit out of me. Like you was wow. Like you gonna be single. No, let me stop saying it because you got on me last time I said you was gonna be single forever.
Because
But yeah, that's my opinion on that one. This next one though, listen,
I didn't even read it.
you can read
I
this one.
purposely
Read the
didn't read
second
it.
one. I want to see your face as you read this shit.
My boyfriend takes creep shots. I just found out that my significant other of 2 years takes creep shots of women at the beach. I found out harmlessly and was disturbed, so I let him know right away what I saw on his phone. He was very apologetic, but admitted he's been doing it for years. And if I hadn't found out, he probably wouldn't have stopped. He's not exactly sure why he does it. It turns him on, and he knows it's creepy and wrong. He actually thought it might be illegal. It is.
It is.
Though it's not. Yeah, that's inaccurate. Up to this, he's been amazing. Thoughts on Creepshots. He wants to know how he can make it up to me, make it better, prove he will stop. I'm just not sure how. I entered this relationship already with previous experiences that gave me rather significant trust issues. Whew, honey. You might have to let
Okay.
that one go.
So you found out that your boyfriend is at the beach taking pictures of women. Like by creep shots, does he mean like while they're getting dressed, while they like? There's a lot of different ways that can go. But my thing is, like usually, and I watch a lot of SVU. So if I like go into this weird place, don't judge me. But like that's like the entry drug to all
The
type of
other
predator.
shit.
Yeah, like so. What next
Raping.
is he gonna be putting cameras in bathrooms to see women pissing? Like what? I couldn't be with somebody, a woman who did that shit because it'd be like, look, well, we talk about it. I'd have to figure out what's going on. But then for you, if she said, oh, I know it's wrong, I know it's creepy, but it gets me off, it gets me horny, nigga, that's gonna take some serious therapy. That ain't no just, hey, let me give me your phone while we at the beach. That's not just no shit like that. Like I don't know, man.
I feel like it might be some childhood trauma behind it. I don't know. I don't want to play therapist, but I couldn't do it. That's weird. And like you said, that's a gateway to so many other things. It can go to putting the phone on your foot and looking under skirts while you're on the train. It could go to creeping on people in dressing rooms. It could even go as far as to wanting to rape people because they turn you on so much. I could not do it. I could
I
not
watch too much SVU. That's what I keep saying
do
because
it.
I'm telling you right now, that just seems like the start of an SVU episode, and then the next thing you know, he gets so turned on that he's raping somebody. And that's an extreme. Let me stop. That's an
But it
extreme, right?
happens.
But it does happen. Like, and we live in a world now to where I don't put shit past no motherfucking body. I got kids. Any sign of anything that's creepy, hell, I just had to get a grown woman off my son at the mall this week. Anything that's creepy or predatory, you got to go. You got to go. Like, period, point blank.
Like there is no way for him to prove to you that's not something that he's just gonna let go of because you found out.
No.
He may make you think he's not doing it anymore, but he's gonna keep doing that shit. So there's no way to prove to you that he's not gonna do it. There's no way for him to make it right. Like you just need to move on. Like this is not this ain't what you want, sis. This ain't what you
Mm,
want.
mm. That's
Sorry.
some weird shit, homie. That's some
Yeah,
weird fucking shit.
can't
Um,
get it.
I can't deal with no creepy shit. Like, don't get me wrong. I be at the beach looking at toes all day long, but I ain't taking no pictures. Like that shit is weird. We got one more email. You ready to get into the last one for the night?
Yeah. So this is what should I do? I'm a virgin. I really want to start having sex. I want to lose it to someone I care about, but I don't care enough about anyone to lose it to them. I just want to get it over with so I can start having sex, but I need to find someone I care about to lose it to. What should I do?
Listen, grab the nearest dick with you that's close to you and just be like, look, come with me for a second. Go. No, I'm just fucking. That's bad advice. I'm just talking
Negative.
shit. I'm just talking shit. I would say like I think I would like to know almost how old you are because if you're like I don't know. Like, I don't want to assume, but like people, I remember being in high school and people thought that, well, like they just wanted to lose their virginity, A, because it seemed like everyone else was, or B, they just wanted to get it out the way. My thing is like, if you want to have a connection with somebody, worry about the connection first. Sex is going to come. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're a damn 30-year-old virgin. At some point, it's going to come. It's going to eventually be amazing. XYZ. But don't try to do it just to get it out the way. If a connection is what you're looking for, if you want, I'm not one to shame. If you want to just get your rocks off and figure it out, do that shit too. But if you, by the way you worded this email, you want a connection with somebody to lose it to, so make somebody earn it in that case. That's how I feel.
Hmm. Listen,
I
sis.
mean, Tia is a
Is it
virgin,
is
so you can go ahead and give her some.
this? Yeah, right. As much as I love sex, oh my God, I could do it every day. Let me tell you, it is slightly overrated, okay? The shit that comes with sex, like the headache with some of the people and attitudes and spirits and all the shit that come with it, it ain't worth it if you just gonna be out here fucking off just to get the experience out of the way. I'm gonna tell you right now. Yes, it feels good, but it ain't worth the headache if it ain't with the right person. So I would just continue to wait. You waited this long, it's not a big deal. If you want to start doing little things to kind of like build yourself up to where you're ready to have sex and you kind of get a feel of what you're doing and you know your body, I would start buying toys. You can buy
Mm.
dildos, you can buy vibrators, you can buy all types of things, but explore your own body, figure out what you like, because if you don't know what you like, you can't tell anybody else how to make you come or get your rocks off. So explore yourself first. But let me tell you, don't go out here rushing to have sex with just anybody, because half of the shit ain't worth the headache. Just wait until you find the right person and kind of take it from there.
We don't know if this letter is from a man or woman. If this is from a
Yeah.
man, get you one of those lifelike sex dolls and have you some fucking fun. Figure it out.
Silicone ones?
Listen, and then by time you get with a woman, you be pulling out tricks and positions and shit. Like,
Yeah.
that's all I'll say.
Watch porn.
No, I don't see. I
It'll
don't
teach
watch
you.
porn, so I
Porn
can't. I
will
can't
teach
give
you
that.
tricks.
I ain't learned shit from porn. I'm gonna let you know right now. All my years in life watching porn, that shit didn't help me when a vagina was live and in my face. That shit did not help me one bit at all.
Oh God. Well, there's that.
You got to get that leg up. So you got to get that position when you get that leg up like this, and then you.
I hope y'all are watching the visual to this,
Oh
because you
man,
need to see that.
my old ass! I can't believe I just got my leg up there. But all right, that's been it for another
Oh,
episode of Love,
Lord.
Lust, and Badass Soul, man.
Yeah, Jesus.
I feel like next week, since we had this letter from a virgin, we should both share our stories of how we lost our virginity.
Oh God.
So be on the lookout for that next week. We'll both tell our stories. I'm putting it on the docket. I don't give a fuck what T you got to say. But that's been it. This
Well,
is
mine
another
went
episode.
fast, so whatever.
Hey, I
But
can tell you all 15 seconds of my first time. We can go step by step.
15
It wasn't.
seconds.
I'm lying. I'm lying. But you gotta remember, it was that older chick. So she was much older than me, and she put her mouth on my penis first. So like I only had about a good 10 strokes in me after that. It was the first time too.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about this next week. You're gonna go first because I need to hear that.
All right, but nonetheless, we are it. This has been another episode of Love, Lust, and Badass. So Tia, go ahead and give them your social media so we can get the hell up out of here.
You can catch me, the First Lady, at the First Lady, DAFIRST_LEDI on Instagram.
And you can
And the
follow
First
me.
Lady on Twitter. Sorry.
My bad. I'm used to you plugging one and going the fuck on. I'm glad
I
you
know,
plugging
right?
both of them. You can follow me at CEO Haize, at CEO Haize. We are the number one adult podcast in all the world. You can follow us collectively at Love, Lust, and BAS Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, lovelustandbas@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to send us a voicemail instead of writing in, you can do so at 614-547-2039. Now that we're streaming live on YouTube, we may start trying to do that call-in line here shortly, which will be fun. So be on the lookout for that. But otherwise, this has been it. We love each and every one of you guys. We out this bitch.
Bye.
Peace.